broken clock on the back wall, counting down till the last bell rings. You lock the door with the plastic smile, say this is just our little secret thing. Ink stains on my test paper, your hand leaning where it shouldn't be. You twist the rules like a gold ring, say it's love, say it's meant to be. Leave the kids alone, you're not a savior, you're a thief of home. Predator in school clothes, life in a cage is a place you go. See ya, Chomo, see ya, Chomo. We need justice, not a whisper, sorry, go. Leave the kids alone, leave the kids alone. You hide behind a chalk halo, fake men are on a crooked throne. They call you ma'am, they call you sir, you use that power, strip us to the bone. Female face, male face, same crime, same cold eyes when the door clicks shut. Courtroom shrug, they were almost grown. Light little sentence, deep little cut. Leave the kids alone, you're not a savior, you're a thief of home. Predator in school clothes, life in a cage is a place you go. See ya, Chomo, see ya, Chomo. Need justice, not a whisper, sorry, go. Judge with a tired handshake, gave her falls like it's half awake. You get years, we can count on hands. We get scars, we can't understand. Names on a list, they move you towns. Paper walls, you still prowl around. Kids in rows like loaded guns. You pull the trigger, then you run. Leave the kids alone, you're not a savior, you're a thief of home. Predator in school clothes, life in a cage is a place you go. See ya, Chomo, see ya, Chomo. We need justice, not a whisper, sorry, go. Leave the kids alone, leave the kids alone, leave the kids alone.
Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Bloomington, Chief Hodges here. A monster alert. In December of 2025, we got a tip about an individual who was peddling in child pornography, specifically young boys, as young as the age of 3, being sexually assaulted by grown adults. On March 5th, we arrested Mr. Morgan Carlton here, a monster. And he's going to be charged with possession of multiple child pornography images. Our investigators who do this, God bless them. It's really tough dealing with people like this. But if you have had contact with him, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Bloomington Police Department. But we locked him up, and it's our hope as we continue to work through this case that he goes away for a long time. But this is a real monster here, Bloomington, and we're going to make sure we can do what we need to do to protect our people and our kids from monsters like this. We'll see you back here shortly.
A jury in Janesville finds a 46-year-old Beloit man guilty of sexually assaulting 3 children. Kason Lee will be sentenced May 8th on 2 counts of incest with a child, child enticement, and 3 counts of second-degree sexual assault of a child and repeated sexual assault of the same child. He faces up to 165 years in prison. The Rock County District Attorney's Office says in May last year, a teenage girl came forward about abuse in her home, which sparked an investigation that led to 2 more victims telling similar stories about Lee sexually assaulting them as children. All 3 of them testified during the trial.
There are disturbing allegations against a Spokane public school teacher. Police have arrested her for sex crimes against a child.
The alleged crimes happened at an elementary school. KREM 2's Christian Garza reached out to the district and has more now on the investigation.
The alleged crimes took place right here behind me inside of Stevens Elementary School. Court documents show that the 10-year-old victim told investigators the abuse happened daily. Today, former special education teacher 32-year-old Mihaela Benavides appeared in court facing charges of first-degree rape of a child and first-degree child molestation. The rape charge applies when someone has sexual intercourse with a child under 12 and the suspect is at least 2 years older than the victim. Spokane police say an investigation started last month when the principal of the school called police after the family of the victim came forward with the allegations. Court documents show following a nearly 2-hour interview with the victim, investigators confirmed the abuse started around winter break of this school year. The child told police the acts would happen multiple times a day inside of 2 different classrooms, one that was used as a timeout or break room and another that had other students inside. With a search warrant, investigators went through Benavides' phone and found multiple sexual photos and videos that involve both the victim and herself. Today, a court commissioner determined probable cause for the charges Benavides is facing. These are Class A sex offense charges, which means she could potentially face up to life in prison.
The state's position in this case is that the defendant's actions were highly predatory. We are additionally concerned for community safety based on the level of sophistication and planning involved in perpetrating these sexual assaults.
Her bond has been set to $750,000. She's expected to be back in court for her arraignment next week. Police.
Guilford, Connecticut. A 57-year-old man was arrested for possessing child sexual abuse material following an investigation by the Guilford police. This investigation began on October 26th of 24. When detectives working as part of the Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force discovered child sexual abuse material was being shared online from a local residence. Further investigation determined the residence was located in Brantford, and so was this chomo. So with the assistance from the Brantford police, detectives executed a search warrant, and during a search, numerous items of evidence were seized, and they seized up 57-year-old chomo Norbert Stanislaw Zielinski. And, of course, he's the suspect. Following an extensive investigation and forensic examination of the evidence, investigators confirmed that he was in possession of a substantial amount of child sexual abuse material. He was then arrested, this was Thursday. Zielinski's bond was set at $150,000, and he's scheduled to appear in court on March 24th. On a side note here, I kind of like this. I like communities that do this, cities that do this. The Guilford Police Department is hosting an Internet Safety for Parents presentation at the Guilford Community Center on Thursday, March 31st. So if you're anywhere around that area, you might want to check it out there. Thanks, guys.
Now to a crime alert in Currituck County. A man is facing 25 charges related to the sexual exploitation of a child. Roberto Aguilar is being held on $6 million bond. The Currituck County Sheriff's Office arrested him on Wednesday. He's facing charges of sexual exploitation of a minor and disseminating obscene material to a child under 16.
Tonight, after 2 Sacramento area child molesters were granted parole, an Elk Grove lawmaker is trying to stop it from happening again. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. Well, that lawmaker is introducing a bill to exempt crimes from the elderly parole program, but it's not without debate. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us to explain.
Becca, Democratic Assembly member Stephanie Nguyen says her bill, Assembly Bill 2727, is meant to protect children and the community, but advocates say the state's existing elderly parole program is already one of the most rigorous in the nation, and adding more restrictions undermines those that have been rehabilitated.
Many of us, have children, and I wouldn't want an individual like Vogel saying living right next door to me. I wouldn't want him living next door to anybody.
Democratic Assemblymember Stephanie Wynn is referring to David Allen Funston and Gregory Vogelsang. Both men are convicted child molesters and have been granted parole under the current elder parole program. But Wynn's hoping her new legislation, AB 2727, can reform the elder parole program.
We're raising the threshold to those with violent sexual offenses to now say that you must be at least 75 years of age and have 30 years in prison to be eligible. We're also making it so that way anybody that have these sexual heinous crimes are not eligible for it.
Current law makes inmates eligible at 50 years old and served a minimum of 20 years. Some of the crimes included in this bill are aggravated sexual assault of a child and sexual intercourse or sodomy with a child 10 years old or younger. Sacramento County DA Tin Ho is a co-sponsor of this bill and criticized the current law during a press conference on Thursday.
Under one of the most horrible, unjust laws that we have in the state of California, elder parole. This law affords people such as child molesters like Vogelsang out of custody after molesting little children, after posing a threat.
But Colby Lenz with Survived and Punished says this could be unfair for those who have been rehabilitated.
We've seen people who have committed sexual violence transform and take accountability for their actions. We don't see their release as a risk to community when they've gone through this really rigorous process.
Lenz believes this bill is less about the public than it is about politics.
It becomes more about scoring political points on the back of survivors than actually thinking about community safety and what we need and who's safe to come home.
And this bill still needs to make its way through the legislative process before it becomes law. Republican Assembly members Tom Lackey and Josh Hoover have introduced a similar bill, AB 2570, that would raise the elderly parole age to 65 years old. Becca.
Jeannie, thank you so much.
A Bowling Green man was sentenced for using artificial intelligence to produce over 1,300 images of child sexual abuse material. 37-year-old Ray Gordon was found guilty on one count of producing obscene visual representations of child abuse and one count of possessing obscene visual representations of child abuse. For over a year, he used an AI image generator to create detailed and obscene messages of minor children engaged in sexually explicit conduct. He was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, followed by a 20-year term of supervised release.
Down to Florida, an Okeechobee County man is facing multiple charges after investigators say they found child sexual abuse material on his cell phone during an ongoing investigation. The Okeechobee County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division received a tip through the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force regarding the online transmission and possession of child sexual abuse material. Detectives identified Donald Wayne Johnson of Fort Drum as a suspect, and later that evening, Johnson was located at his home and taken into custody and initially charged with one count of possession of child sexual abuse material and one count of transmission of child sexual abuse material. Johnson later admitted that additional child sexual abuse material would likely be found on his device. And detectives then served a probable cause search warrant for his cell phone. As investigators reviewed the evidence, they filed an additional 9 counts of possession and 9 counts of distribution. The investigation remains active, and detectives continue analyzing evidence recovered from the device as well as other devices in his home. Investigators also believe Johnson may have had contact with a local juvenile female whose identity is unknown. See ya, Chomo.
Hey guys, we're catching Adrian Zuniga. He's from Lansing, Michigan. Came to Kalamazoo, Michigan to hang out with a minor for activities. He's going to take her to a hotel, and he talked about bringing her some smoke. We'll find out.
He's going to jail right now.
Bye.
Why do you go so hard against free speech?
You see my You're a bigger man. I know you want to follow the contracts. You're sick. They ask you to leave, they ask you you to say. I still want to finish my speech. And I believe I have the right to finish my speech.
No, you do not.
Under your context, I might not, but I believe as an American, I do.
I'm the presiding officer. I'm asking you one more time to please sit down and or leave the room.
You can be the presiding officer, whatever you deem it to be.
I'm going to clear the room. Recess. I'm sorry, folks. Clear the room so I get order.
Stop saying sorry. You are such a fucking bully, John. You're a fucking punk bitch. Where are you going? You're gonna run off now to your little back room with your fucking lawyers. We're gonna teach you how to violate our civil rights. Let the guy talk. You're gonna waste 15 minutes on a fucking recess. You could have just let him talk for 3 goddamn minutes, but you can't. Because you can't stand criticism or insults because you're a thin-skinned little bitch who's never even been in the real world because daddy gave you a fucking business. By the way, don't go to Ellsworth Electric for any of your electrical needs. It's owned by that worthless piece of shit that likes to touch 8-year-old girls, according to circuit court records.
Thank you, Andrea. A registered sexual predator is charged with having child pornography. 36-year-old Amori Toralva of Zion allegedly had a number of videos with him. Lake County Sheriff's detectives received a tip from an internet provider about someone uploading suspected videos. They determined the likely source was a residence at 18th and Galilee Avenue and carried out a search warrant yesterday. Additional charges are possible in this case. The man had a previous child pornography conviction in DuPage County and was on parole.
On March 11th, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, along with the assistance of Special Weapons and Tactics, that will be SWAT, and the Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force is their digital forensic lab unit, as well as the Criminal Investigation Section, Unmanned Aircraft Systems, and Tactical Unit, executed search and arrest warrants at 4042 Hidden River Lane in Sarasota. This was related to an investigation regarding the promotion of child sexual abuse material. And as a result, Kyle R.X., that's EX, born 4/12/88, I might as well throw that in there. He was identified as the suspect and arrested for 10 separate counts of child sexual abuse material. The search and arrest warrants were served without incident. X is currently a registered sexual offender resulting from the arrest and conviction in a 24 count for 15 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. So you gotta figure just over a year later and he's already out on the streets. There is no cure. He was released from incarceration in November of last year, so it's actually probably right around 1 year that he was actually even in jail. He's currently on the sex offender probation through 2038 for the mentioned offenses from above. Unreal how they could just let these guys out.
Top story now. A Lawrence County man is now facing charges related to child sexual exploitation offenses. According to Kentucky State Police, an internet investigation led to the arrest of 26-year-old Christopher Allen Price on charges related to child sexual abuse material and sexual crimes committed against an animal. KSP says Price allegedly distributed sexually explicit images of juveniles online. A search warrant was obtained and served at Price's home in Louisa. KSP seized the equipment used to commit the alleged crimes. Price is facing 60-plus charges, and a full list can be found on our website at WNKY.com.
Hello and welcome to our WIFR Fastcast. A 41-year-old man will spend 3.5 years in prison for having child pornography. In a plea deal, Timothy Pizzuto will be on supervision for the rest of his life when he finishes his sentence. In March 2021, Wisconsin investigators got a tip that Pizzuto had child pornography on his phone. Law enforcement got the same tip a month later. Pizzuto's phone would later show the images.
Take a look at this now. It's a mugshot that will certainly get your attention. This is Jay Bryant, a sex offender who Schodack police arrested for failing to report a change of address, which is required by the state sex offender registry. Police say he was living in Schodack before moving to Stephentown, where they arrested him. We reached out to Schodack police about why Bryant has a black eye in his mugshot, but they say no force was used during the arrest, and the black eye is related to a medical issue. Take
Now up to Maryland. We've got a man who's a former high school coach and facing over 24 charges following a years-long investigation. Authorities say that Louis Delano Bowles, it's Bowles, I don't know, B-O-W-L-E-S, I'm going to call him Bowles III, 25-year-old of Waldorf, was arrested on March 9th after a Charles County grand jury indictment. Bowles faces 20 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material, as well as 5 counts of promoting or distributing CSAM. The investigation began after detectives received a tip from, of course, none other than the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, about an unknown individual from an address somewhere in Charles County. Well, of course, they pinpointed it down. Detectives said the case involved multiple subpoenas, cell phone data analysis, and forensic examinations. Authorities determined that the illegal images were uploaded sporadically over several months. They later executed a search warrant at Bowles' home in White Plains, where they seized multiple electronic devices and a small amount of magic mushrooms. A forensic review of the devices allegedly uncovered hundreds of images, videos, and messages containing child sexual abuse material. Bowles previously worked as a track and football coach at Maurice III McDonough High School from 2022 to 2025. Bowles was released from the Charles County Detention Center on March 11th under electronic monitoring. So they let him out on a tether. Oh boy.
Kentucky State Police have announced charges against a Lawrence County man accused of child sexual exploitation. KSP says Christopher Price of Louisa was arrested following an undercover Internet Crimes Against Children investigation. Price is accused of possessing and distributing sexually explicit images of juveniles online. He is housed in the Big Sandy Detention Center.
In other news, a pastor in Crystal Springs is in serious trouble for his alleged behavior with a local girl in the community, leaving the community and the congregation in disbelief. 12 News' Cameron Smith discussed the recent arrest of this pastor with the Crystal Springs police chief.
Disgust, unbelief, and the fact that this actually took place there in that house. Was appalling to me.
That's Crystal Springs Police Chief Robert Thomas reacting to the allegations that Pastor Christopher Willett allegedly sexually abused a local girl for years. According to Thomas, Willett's wife wasn't aware of the suspected activity.
She was as devastated as anyone in the community was, and there's no charges been filed against her, and we're more than certain she was unaware of any of it.
The chief says officers lured Willett out of his house to get him away from his guns. Police asked to meet him at City Hall under pretense of conflict with parking related to the church.
He agreed to come, so he came to the City Hall with his wife, and my police officers were standing by and made the arrest without incident and brought him here to the police station for an interview, and he refused to talk to us.
Police executed an arrest warrant and say they found crucial evidence, including 2 cell phones and a laptop. Chief Thomas says those devices are now with the Attorney General's office under an expedited request for analysis. The elders at First Presbyterian Church were just as appalled as Chief Thomas.
They asked me several times, "Are you sure that this was Chris Willett that did this?" And I said, "I'm more than certain of it."
If Willett is convicted of committing a sexual crime,
the charges that I've read to the congregation, maximum penalty carries 118 years in prison.
Willett is being held in the Copiah County Jail with no bond. Thomas believes Willett's bond hearing is next week. We reached out to the church for comment, but they are closed today. Reporting in Crystal Springs, Cameron Smith, 12 News.
Okay, we got an update. Let's do this right here.
Tonight, a former pastor in Crystal Springs plans to plead guilty to multiple sex crime charges. Court documents show Christopher Willett, former pastor of First Presbyterian Church, intends to plead guilty to statutory rape, sexual battery, and incest. Willett was arrested in March of 2025. If approved, the sentences would mean Willett would serve 25 years.
The citizen-led group called Dads Against Predators was back in Fremont this week, trying to bust people who were looking to meet with children for sex. And for the first time, one of their operations led to an arrest as city leaders went looking into old case law to file the charges. I-Team reporter Sean Haggerty joins me live now with this story, all new at 6. Sean.
Sasha, the police did charge a 68-year-old man from Tiffin after talking to him and doing some investigating of their own. While the group that put all this into motion is taking this event as new legitimacy. Nearly 200 people came to the Denny's in Fremont this week, but it was not for dinner. A call was put out by Joshua Mundy from Dads Against Predators. After posing as a teen online, they connected with a man and organized a meetup allegedly for a sexual encounter.
Bringing hundreds of people to Denny's probably isn't the best thing legally to do. But I think it sends a message that the people really care and they're going to get off their butts.
After the crowd dispersed and detectives spoke with 68-year-old Ronald Callahan of Tiffin, police gathered enough information to charge him with attempted importuning. Chief Derek Wensinger says that they have reviewed case law they were not previously aware of, and they believe the charge is appropriate. So after the 50-second operation that Mundy's group has done in Fremont, finally a criminal charge.
This could be like the first step to something like bigger and change. I feel like a fisherman in a village, and I go out and I catch fish and I bring it back to the village, and I feel like I'm doing something good with my life.
Mundy, who is a Fremont native, met with Fremont's police chief and the mayor, along with the Sandusky County Sheriff, after the crowd at Denny's, plus a similar operation at the Sheetz gas station, which is outside the Fremont city limits. He believes this arrest gives his group legitimacy and plans to continue the work. The crowd arriving at a restaurant like this does present a dangerous situation, and police do not want to see that again. Mundy sees the whole week, though, as a step in the right direction.
We want to change attitudes about how people feel about pedophilia and child predators in their community.
Callahan's charge is a misdemeanor. Police said in a statement this week that Dads Against Predators does operate outside the parameters of a lawful investigation, but they did say they would review video and chats to help corroborate the allegation of misconduct. Sasha.
Kentucky State Police said Thursday that its electronic crime branch arrested a Murray man earlier this week on charges related to child sexual abuse material. According to a news release from the Kentucky State Police, their electronic crime branch to be specific, they arrested James Kylan Johnson, a 32-year-old, at approximately 10:39 p.m. Tuesday as a result of an undercover Internet Crimes Against Children's investigation. The Kentucky State Police Electronic Crime Branch began the investigation after discovering the suspect shared images of child sexual exploitation online. The investigation resulted in a search warrant at a residence in Murray on March 10th. Equipment allegedly used to facilitate the crime was seized and taken to the State Police Forensic Laboratory for examination. And of course, that investigation is still ongoing. Johnson himself is currently charged with 4 counts of distribution of matter portraying a minor in a sexual performance under 12 years old. These charges are a Class B felony, punishable by up to 10 to 20 years in prison. And of course, he was lodged in the Callaway County Jail, and he has no bail set. See ya, Chomo.
From the WBRZ investigative unit tonight, new details in the brazen daytime rape of a grandmother in her 90s. Newly filed arrest documents say the victim was sitting on her front porch when the suspect chased her into the carport where he attacked her.
22-year-old Jeremiah Taylor was arrested for that attack, allegedly with an overwhelming amount of evidence, including video against him. However, as the WBRZ investigative unit found out, Taylor has gone mostly unpunished despite an alleged disturbing pattern of behavior.
Sylvia Michael, the WBRZ investigative unit tracked down 2 women, one who claims to be another victim of Taylor's and another who says she came terrifyingly close.
The suspect is Jeremiah Taylor. That he does have a previous criminal history.
This really up. Emphatic words from a 22-year-old whom we found out has been arrested for rape more than once. On Friday, Baton Rouge police arrested Jeremiah Taylor for assaulting and raping a 94-year-old woman in her driveway in the middle of the day. We uncovered Taylor's troubling history of sexual violence.
Jeremiah was with me maybe 6 to 8 months.
before Jeremiah thought it was okay to inappropriately touch me.
This woman, who did not want to be identified, told us she was Taylor's foster mother during COVID.
I felt something on me, and when I got up, I seen him running out of my room.
Without getting too graphic, she claims Taylor got into bed with her and fondled himself when he was just 16 years old.
Jeremiah just thought it was okay to do what he did, and once my mom asked him that particular night, why did he do that, he said that he wanted to see how a grown woman feels.
She says she did press charges, but also told us she believes not much happened legally in his case because he was a juvenile at the time. Taylor faced a similar outcome when police charged him with raping a family member in 2024. Charges in that case were dropped, and Taylor was released from prison in January. Just a couple weeks after getting let out on that charge, Taylor is caught on video obtained by the WBRZ investigative unit appearing to stalk this woman.
I was walking from the store on my phone. Okay. And then when I came in the house, I opened the door and my son-in-law said, somebody following me.
We tracked down the woman seen in the video and agreed to conceal her identity when she spoke to us. Watch as a man, who she claims is Taylor, follows behind her, hiding behind a car, then appears to get ready to strike, but then turns around when the woman makes it inside the door.
When I saw it on the news that he had raped a 94-year-old woman, I was like, that could have been me.
She tells us she fears what he would have done if she hadn't made it inside, especially after learning how he attacked the 94-year-old in her driveway.
And that must have been what his MO was. He probably thought he was going to grab me in this walkway in here.
He allegedly raped the elderly woman who lived a couple streets over less than 3 weeks later. For these women, especially Taylor's former foster mother, the things they say he did to them will stick with them.
And I live with this every day of my life. Depression, anxiety, and I have to live with it.
District Attorney Hiller Moore sent a statement this afternoon addressing why the charges against Taylor for raping a family member were dropped. He says, quote, despite my office's attempts to contact the victim, we could not do so, not by lack of cooperation of the victim, but that our attempts to locate her were unsuccessful. Without the victim's testimony, we could not proceed to trial. However, Moore adds he will now be seeking indictments for both rapes Taylor is accused of. For the investigative unit, Bess Casserly, WBRZ News 2.
Meantime, developing tonight, a Lockport man is behind bars accused of raping a 4-year-old child. The Niagara County Sheriff's Office tells us 24-year-old Luke Smeal was charged with first-degree rape, first-degree sexual abuse, and endangering the welfare of a child. The sheriff tells us the investigation began last year, stemming from concerns from the victim's parents when Smeal was working as a babysitter at their home.
And when you're talking about a 4-year-old child, that's very disturbing. Whether you're in law enforcement or not, I think this case is upsetting. When you think of the innocence of a child and that somebody would do those kinds of things, I think I'm glad this individual is being brought to justice at the end of this investigation.
Sheriff also tells us he is not aware of any other victims at this time. Smeal currently being held until he's arraigned.
Now to some more breaking news. The LaPorte County Sheriff's Office has arrested and charged a man for promotion of sex trafficking along with some other alleged crimes. The man we're talking about is on your screen. He's 34-year-old Joseph A. Yaw. Now, this all began on January 12th when a woman and her 13-year-old niece came to the sheriff's office claiming the minor was receiving inappropriate messages. Yaw was arrested this morning for promotion of sex trafficking, child solicitation, and inappropriate communication with a child. Yaw is currently at the LaPorte County Jail awaiting his court date and will continue to follow the story as new information comes in.
This is the arrest of Anthony Bubba Mariani, a well-known community figure and high school football coach. This investigation culminated in his arrest following serious allegations involving student athletes under his supervision. Core allegations and charges, according to heavily redacted police reports and court testimony, include child abuse and neglect, 7 counts, felony counts, Investigators interviewed approximately 25 individuals leading to allegations of a pattern of behavior involving the mistreatment of minors. He's also being charged with open or gross lewdness, a level 3 felony. And those charges stem from reports of inappropriate exposure in a locker room setting and the explicit sexual comments directed towards his students. Well, oh my goodness, here we got more. Digital misconduct. One specific allegation involves the forced creation of AI-generated sexual content involving other students. So, he entered a plea deal on March 10th and appeared before Judge Christopher Tillman. Pled not guilty.
Bring your wife hold on here. Okay. Are you okay with me manipulating your phone?
Yeah. But he's currently out of custody on a $250,000 bond.
Can we give his wife a call? Yeah. Let's see. You know your code. What's it?
You can hold it up to my face.
Okay. How do I do this? Sorry. Okay. What's her name?
Hi. I am. Yes.
Why?
There's a ton of things of lewdness and what was the other thing?
Child abuse and neglect.
Child abuse and neglect. So I'm in front of the school. Will you see if you can call?
Yep.
And will you call the lawyer guy?
Yep, I'm on my way.
All right. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
So you want to let her know where you're going?
Where am I going?
You're going to Clark County Detention Center, okay? So let's
Clark County Detention Center?
Yeah. So let's let her know so she knows where you are at. Hey, Shannon, this is Officer Madison. I'm here with Frank. I just want to let you know where he's going to be, okay? He's going to be at the Clark County Detention Center. It's downtown Las Vegas, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
And of course, he's going to be going to court June 2nd. See ya, Chomo. Have a nice ride.
Now, the Blount County Sheriff's Office says they've arrested a Remlap man on charges tied to sexual exploitation of a minor. 41-year-old Michael DeWoody faces charges including traveling to meet a child for sex, electronic solicitation of a child, transmitting obscene material to a child, and second-degree sexual abuse. Anyone with any information relevant to this investigation is asked to contact the Blount County Sheriff's Office at the number that you see on your screen. You're watching KSLA News 12 at noon. I'm Dominique Bad and your first alert crime tracker. The Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office says a well-known Louisiana band member from Dirt Road Troubadours is now accused of multiple rape charges involving children. According to CPSO, Jonathan Wesley Rochelle turned himself in on Friday after deputies received anonymous tips. He is accused of multiple first-degree rape and molestation of juvenile charges. Rochelle is currently held on a $2 million bond.
A Greensboro man facing several child sexual abuse charges stemming from incidents allegedly dating back to about a decade ago. Police arrested Jalen Daniels on Monday. He's charged with 4 counts of indecent liberties with the child, 2 counts of statutory sex offense with the child. Warrants say the offenses happened between 2016 and 2017, and his next hearing is scheduled for May.
Over to Kentucky, the Madisonville police say 2 people are now under arrest after they were in possession of child sexual abuse material. The authorities in Madisonville say that they were contacted by the FBI on March 10th, saying they made an arrest in Texas for possession, manufacturing of child sexual abuse material. Then they forwarded the information to 2 local individuals on the receiving end. During that investigation, they found that Brittany Monahan and Landon Talley were communicating with each other between March and April of last year, talking about sexual fantasies involving children. And they also received several child sexual abuse material images. And on March 12th, Police executed a search warrant on a home in Dawson Springs, as well as a truck on the property. Officers there found meth, both inside the home and the truck. Inside the home, officers also found drug paraphernalia, including needles and scales that the suspected meth residue was on them. Police also found a small baggie of the suspected Suboxone pills inside the home. Both Monahan and Talley were taken to the Hopkins County Jail, and both were charged with possession of child sexual abuse material, along with trafficking and possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Drug-using chomos, that's all we need around here, isn't it, guys? See ya.
We've learned tonight a Decatur man behind bars on child porn charges after a tech company reported his cloud storage account. According to court documents filed today, Synchronos Technologies reported a user to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for allegedly uploading and storing child sexual abuse material. The company provided investigators with the phone number leading investigators to Thomas Boland, pictured here. Police later executed a search warrant at his home, seizing multiple electronic devices, including his cell phone. Court records show one of the images found on his account depicted the sexual abuse of a baby girl. Police arrested Boland yesterday, charging him with 10 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. He's held in the Morgan County Jail on a $1 million bond.
You may have seen this next story on your social media feed. Fremont police arrested a 68-year-old Tiffin man on attempted importuning charges. In Ohio, importuning is when an adult solicits a child under 16 for sexual activity. Officers arrested this man, Ronald Callahan, at a Denny's on Cedar Street around 5 o'clock last night. Police say the arrest follows an investigation that started as a disturbance involving members of the online group Dads Against Predators. Members of that group conduct sting operations targeting suspected child sex predators. Investigators say they also got a report of a disturbance at a Sheetz outside city limits.
A man will spend the rest of his life in prison for sexually assaulting a child in Round Rock. The Williamson County District Attorney announced 44-year-old Rennie Ray Beverly's conviction and sentencing today. Investigators say he repeatedly assaulted a girl starting when she was about 12 years old. Investigators say Beverly was previously convicted of similar abuse in Louisiana, and the jury was allowed to consider that when they delivered the life sentence. Williamson County District Attorney Sean Dick commended the survivor for her bravery and said the life sentence reflects the severity of Beverly's crimes.
Over to Massachusetts. A Marston Mills man is facing charges after authorities allegedly found child sexual abuse material on his home devices. This is 38-year-old Scott Grella. He was charged with 1 count of possession of child sexual abuse material and 1 count of dissemination of child sexual abuse material. According to the Barnstable Police Department, the Massachusetts State Police Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force received a cyber tip that alleged that an online account was later identified as Grella. He possessed and disseminated child sexual abuse material. On March 9th, the Barnstable Police executed a search warrant at his home with the assistance of the United States Secret Service Cyber Fraud Task Force. The investigation allegedly revealed that at least one of Grella's digital devices contained child sexual abuse material at the time of his arrest. He was arraigned in Barnstable District Court on Tuesday and ordered held on, oh my goodness, $3,000 bail. Are you kidding me? Well, he's scheduled for a pretrial hearing on May 12th. No wonder he looks all happy in that picture, huh? No further information is available on this chomo.
4 more charges this afternoon in the sexual assault case of a former school employee in 2 districts. This time in New London County, stemming from an incident with a young boy. Thanks for joining us for the Afternoon Rush. I'm Stephanie Simone. It's all the day's top stories and weather right here, starting right now. Channel 3's Bryant Reed is live in Colchester right now with the news details on this case. Bryant, what have we learned this afternoon?
Well, Stephanie, Allison Cranick was arraigned in Norwich Superior Court today after police say that she took the victim to a state park to have sex in her car. Now, that victim, an 11-year-old boy, they say Cranick took him here in Colchester to Salmon River State Park on 2 separate occasions between July and August of last year. Now, according to court documents, the sexual assaults began during the summer of 2022 when the victim and Cranick started communicating over social media while she was a former school employee in 2 districts. Now, on Discord is where the victim and Cranick are alleged to have planned meetups where he would sneak out of his house while she was lying in wait behind neighbors' bushes. Social media experts say it's tough to always keep up with kids' social media, but make sure they know what the warning signs are to look for.
Whether or not people talk to you in person or over the internet, or kind of texting, if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, trust that gut instinct and, let somebody know.
Now, at her arraignment today, a judge set Cranick's new bond at $250,000. In Colchester, Brian Reed, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
A man is sitting in jail tonight facing child sex crime charges. Police arrested 37-year-old Juan Robles Ayala today. The charges, 4 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, stem from November 2024. The suspect was previously arrested on drug charges back in January of this year and faces an additional charge of communicating a threat to a 17-year-old. He is expected back in court next month.
In Decatur, 2 men are facing charges in separate child sex crime investigations. Police say both cases involve child sexual abuse material being uploaded and shared online. The first suspect you're taking a look at is Brent McNutt. He's accused of using the Kik messaging app to upload that material. Police served a search warrant at his home and seized several electronic devices. He's charged with possession and dissemination. The second suspect is Thomas Boland. He's accused of storing and uploading similar material through a cloud-based service. Police searched his home and also seized multiple devices. He's facing several possession-related charges.
We're going to head down to Florida, where a Pensacola man has been indicted by a federal grand jury on charges of possession of obscene material, possession of child sexual abuse material, and being a registered sex offender while committing child exploitation crimes. These charges were announced by federal authorities. Daisha Ricky Montrell Foster, a 33-year-old, faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 20 years in prison if convicted. He remains in the custody of the U.S. Marshal Service at the Santa Rosa County Jail pending trial. A jury trial is set to begin on April 6th.
Outside of McMillan Middle School right now, where on Wednesday morning a librarian was taken into custody. Jeffrey Schaefer had been at McMillan for 7 years. He's being held on charges of sex trafficking of a minor and possession of child pornography.
Court documents say the crimes occurred in 2023 while the victim was 16 years old. Meanwhile, Schaefer was 53.
The defendant then asked the victim to send him a few photos of her naked to arouse him.
Douglas County Attorney Don Klein calls Schaefer's behavior worrying.
He has access to all kinds of children because they work in a school. So it's very concerning. It's very disturbing.
Klein says Schaefer could receive up to life in prison.
We don't want this kind of behavior in our community. And so we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to hold him accountable and make sure that he can't hurt anybody else.
Still talking news from the courts tonight, a former Democratic National Alliance candidate slammed with an 18-year prison sentence after he was convicted of having unlawful sexual intercourse with a 17-year-old boy. 51-year-old Marlon Newton was unanimously convicted of 2 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor of the same sex last August. Newton took the teen in after his mother put him out in March of 2019. The witness said that he had consensual sex with Newton shortly after moving into his trailer home. The teen said he moved out because Newton required sex in exchange for his board. However, the teen was forced to reach out to Newton again in August of 2019 after he fell out with a new roommate. This time, the teen said that Newton had sex with him against his will. Both acts were illegal as their age for consent for the same-sex relationship is 18.
Excuses, some very Florida excuses. Well, we're starting off our list this week with a Collier County man dodging a warrant on 24 counts of the possession of child pornography. Juan Carlos Betancourt has been on the run for the last few months after he failed to appear for his trial on charges stemming from the child porn arrest. Detectives received multiple tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children about downloads of sex acts among underage girls between the ages of 5 and 16 that linked back to Betancourt's cell phone. The Collier man initially spent just over 4 months behind bars for the disgusting crime and was released on a $120,000 bond using money that he'd scammed from a Punta Gorda family. Now, in that case, detectives say Betancourt was hired to repair hurricane damage to the home, receiving well over $80,000 in cash. However, very little work was actually done, with most of the money being used to post bond on the child porn crimes instead. His trial date was all set to begin, but when a judge was ready to start, Betancourt was nowhere to be found. The 62-year-old felon has 6 priors between the 2 counties on additional charges of DUI, driving violations, and obscene material counts. Betancourt is 5'5", 175 pounds, and was last known to be living in the Golden Gate Estates area. Next up is a woman who has spent the last 20 years thumbing her nose at the criminal justice system. Stacia Joseph now finds herself back on law enforcement's radar, this time for violating probation following an arrest for the possession of a controlled substance.
Kansas. A Topeka man is being held in the Jackson County Jail on a $1 million bond for alleged child sex crimes. According to Jackson County Sheriff Tim Morse, on March 6th, Teddy Lynn Moore, a 58-year-old of Topeka, was arrested following a warrant that was issued by the Jackson County District Court. Officials said that the charges included 2 counts of rape of a child under 14 years of age, as well as 2 counts of aggravated criminal sodomy of a child under 14 years of age. Moore stated that the investigation surrounding Moore began in July of 25. He was taken by the U.S. Marshal Service on March 6th and is held in the Jackson County Jail with a bond set at $1 million. This investigation remains ongoing.
And new at 5, a Yuma man has been sentenced for sexually abusing a minor. This week, 46-year-old James David Schultz was sentenced to 17 years in prison. In 2023, Schultz was arrested for multiple felony charges. During an investigation, Yuma Police Department received information about a child between the ages of 4 to 14 who was sexually abused. Schultz will also have to serve lifetime probation after his sentencing is completed.
In an Action News alert now, Merced County authorities arrested a Winton School District employee on claims of lewd acts with a child under 14. The school district says 34-year-old Edward Parsons was arrested yesterday. He served as a student supervisor at the Sybil Crookham School in Winton. Investigators say Parsons allegedly sexually assaulted a 9-year-old girl and 2 10-year-old girls. The district says it learned of inappropriate conduct after school just this past Wednesday. Parsons was placed on administrative leave yesterday during the investigation. Merced County jail records show his bail was set at $450,000.
A Latson man is facing child sexual abuse material charges. 16-year-old Glenn Kablee was arrested Wednesday and is charged with 6 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor in the 3rd degree. Each charge carries up to 10 years in prison. The Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force and Charleston County Sheriff's Office made the arrest following a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
One for Rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
Broken clock on the back wall, counting down till the last bell rings. You lock the door with the plastic smile, say this is just our little secret thing. Ink stain